Hey, and welcome to the Systems Boutique podcast. I'm Dr. Ramona H. Lawrence. Most people just simply call me Dr. Ramona. I'm your systems stylist and your business operations expert. And I'm here to help you build a high-end boutique style back-end that creates ease and scalability for you without sacrificing the luxury experience your client absolutely deserve. So if you're a speaker, a coach, a consultant, a course creator, or author who's ready to stop the overwhelm, ditch the tech confusion, and finally streamline your systems and operations, you are in the right place. Each week, I'll bring you actionable strategy, expert insights, and behind the scenes business systems and operations insight to help you scale with ease, efficiency, and absolute excellence. So grab your notebook, your favorite cup of coffee or tea, and let's get to work. Welcome to the Systems Boutique, where systems meet style. Hey, and welcome to this week's episode of the Systems Boutique podcast. And who do we have styling you in the boutique today? It is Coach Rocky. You all know it's always a party when Coach Rocky is here. So I am so excited to have you back in the boutique today, Coach Rocky. Y'all know that Coach Rocky is one of our executive coaches in the Systems Boutique. She is an amazing wealth of knowledge about all things content, all things business, all things operations, all things systems, all things AI. She is just phenomenal at everything that she does. And so we are going to hop in today and just give you some information about content flow and visibility and how we can do all of this content without burning out. So Coach Rocky, hello.
Y'all. So happy to be here. I hope that y'all are having an amazing week and enjoying this amazing podcast.
Yes. Well, thank you again for all that you do and the amazing example that you set for so many women in business. So we just love you. So let's jump into this and talk about inconsistency. So that is a huge issue as we are building these online businesses. You know, we work with speakers, coaches, consultants, authors, people that need their storefront is social media, right? So we know content inconsistency can really just be a complete kill to a business. But let's break it down. What actually happens to a brand when it's posting randomly or ghosting the audience for weeks? Because we've all done it. So
yes. Here's the thing, y'all. I see this a lot. A lot of times we show up because we're excited. We have our content pillars. We know what we want to say. And because we don't get the engagement or we don't get the likes, the comments, the algorithm is algorithming, and we stop showing up consistently. And so there's two things that happen. One, you lose momentum, and momentum is everything when you're putting out a new offer, you're getting ready to launch, or you want to just sell consistently. And number two, you lose trust with your audience, because if they can't trust you to show up for your business, how are they going to trust you to show up for their business and to give them the same type of momentum and the same type of love when you can't even pour that same amount of love into yours? So I always tell people momentum and trust are so important when you're showing up consistently online, because people don't buy from brands that they can't feel or trust. Like, if I can't relate to you or trust you, I don't want to buy from you. So that's the two things.
That's so good. And that's such a great way of thinking about it, that if I don't see you showing up, then how are you going to show up for me? That you won't even show up for yourself. And a lot of times we often have something good to say. We have great things to say. And we were just talking before we started to hit record that we're not in middle school anymore. So we don't have to be afraid of, oh, I'm posting about my business too much, or I'm posting about this thing that I love. I'm posting about my kids. I'm posting about whatever because you're not in middle school. Who cares? Post the thing because it's going to help somebody and it's going to draw the audience that you're supposed to have into your space, right?
Exactly. And I always tell clients, treat your consistency like, and I love that you said middle school. The way a middle school boy dated you is completely different than a grown man dating you. So
Okay.
you want to treat your business like a grown man is dating you. How do you want that man to show up? Do you want him to buy you gifts? Do you want him to take you on consistent dates? Do you want him to wine and dine you? If that's the case, you should be showing up the same way in your content.
That's good. Good stuff. So let's talk about doing this without burnout. We talked to Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson last week about burnout and just the general burnout in business. Now let's move this down to content burnout. So, what does a realistic and I'll say chic content strategy look like for a person who is an extremely busy CEO? You know, they may be like me, I have a full-time job and I run my business. So, how do we get this content done? How do we get this visibility without burning out? And we're doing the parenting, trying to keep our lashes in place.
Lord, as I lost a few, you were like, oh Lord, I hope y'all don't see him. I'm sorry. Y'all listen, lash life is a real life. Okay.
Yes.
I know you just asked a very important question, but lash life is a real life. Lashes change your whole your whole day.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to take a moment for that. But let me say this. When it comes to burnout, I could talk about this all day. We might have to do an episode on burnout. It's knowing your limits. It is knowing your limits. And I find that a lot of business owners have never been in a position to know their own limits in their personal life. So they don't know their own limits in their professional life. If you struggle with setting boundaries with you in your personal life, you're going to struggle with setting boundaries in your business life. This isn't boundaries with other people's. These are self boundaries. This is self trust. This is self discipline. And so that is what leads to burnout, because you will watch me and you will say, I want to create content like Coach Rocky. And I tell people all the time, you will not be able to create content like me, because the way I create content is actually kind of maniacal in a sense. So if I expected Dr. Ramona to create a content, even if she came to me as a client, I would tell her, no, we need to figure out what works for you. And so when you realize like, okay, this works for me, that's when you start to implement your own system. So if I had to create like a simple content system, number one, what is it that you want to say to people? Instead of thinking about creating, we need to think about communicating. And when you get out of a creation mindset and think of it as I'm communicating with my audience, communicating with my potential prospects, then it becomes an easier conversation, because creation actually scares people. You mean I have to sit down, I have to create, I have to write, I have to make a video, versus just communicating. And what does communicating look like for you? That can be in your stories, getting ready with your makeup. That could be creating a reel or a video. That could be posting, writing something. How do you want to communicate with your audience? And then set aside time to actually schedule and put that out there. Because as busy moms, I'm a mom, I run several businesses, and people always ask me, how do you put out so much content? I schedule. I think ahead, plan ahead, and then I schedule. And then after I schedule, I add in some automations, right? Because I can't be everywhere. If I want people to communicate with me on a post, I might say comment B day. And when they comment the word B day, it responds to them. Can you imagine how hard it would be for me to be out with my daughter at choir practice and having to respond to every B day comment? So that's why I put systems in place and I automate certain things, so that way it supports me and my everyday life so I can run it. So that would be my three things.
Yeah, love those. And so, what's your take on showing up versus over showing? So, a lot of times, sometimes people put a lot more of their life or their, let's just say, drama on social media. And we know as business owners, there is a certain decorum, I guess you could call it,
Absolutely.
right, to running a business. And so, what's your take on that? Showing up versus over showing?
I like to say I'm gonna switch this up for our conversation. There is sharing and oversharing, because I want people to see me as a real human. I want them to see me as relatable. I want them to see rawness, but I don't want them to see the vomiting of my life. I should not be spilling all of my life over my audience and my potential prospects. So it's important for you to understand that they want to see you as a human who goes through things, who gives the behind the scenes without you having to like share all the nitty-gritty details. And so out, for example, my fate journey has been one that's 3 years really consistently in the making. I'm not sharing all of the things that happens behind the scenes. I share some of the struggles, but y'all not seeing the moments where it's me and God in the room crying together. Y'all don't see all that. But what you do hear me talk about is how I'm having some challenges in my faith journey, but I'm staying consistent. I'm doing the work. And so I tell people like you have to be able to share and be vulnerable without oversharing and like, ooh, cringy. There's a cringy oversharing.
Yeah.
I've seen somebody cringe overshare the other day, and I was like, okay, I need to snooze you for 30 days. Because if this what you're going to be talking about for the next 30 days, I don't want to see it. And so really figuring out what that balance is, because it doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you're polished. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be poetic every single time. It just means that you are not manufacturing your life in order to put on, because nobody wants to work with anyone fake. They want to work with real people.
And I do love the different things that you post because you post about so many things that are just hilarious. And so you have funny things, you have things where you're showing things behind the scenes. And then I loved seeing your baptism post the other day. So there's
Yes.
all kinds of things that are just so interesting. And it doesn't take away from the knowledge that you have, because I'm like, oh, we get to see that she did this and this and this, and then oh, I'm looking at a systems post and looking at the system that she runs for her client behind the scenes too. So it's fun and it's not so robotic.
Yeah, exactly. Because I want people to see me as a person, but I don't want them to feel like that's all I do. Like all of what I do is my personal life. Because y'all gonna buy from me. Y'all gonna spend some money. And I just want people to know, like, yeah, I'm a real human. I'm a mom, a business owner. I run several companies. At the end of the day, I want people to see the real me.
Yeah. So I know that you're really into AI, so let's get into the juicy stuff about AI.
Yes.
So right now there is a lot of fear around making content like just feel robotic. Some people, I've seen a post going around like, how do you tell when somebody wrote this with AI, right? And so people are a little bit afraid of that. So you say it can really enhance authenticity if you know how to use it. So spill the tea. How do we make AI work with us and not against us or our brand voice?
Okay, y'all. Are y'all ready for a quick lesson? If you don't have a pen and paper, I'm about to give y'all a quick lesson
Got mine.
on how to make AI work for you. First and foremost, I think it's important that I admit something. It's not a lie. I haven't lied to y'all, but it's important for me to admit it publicly. My content, the content that I write, 60 to 80% of it is written by AI.
Can't tell.
You know why you can't tell? And that's because I do something very important. Okay. I have taken all of my original written content, whether it's a social media post, sales page copy, some screenshots from my girl chats, because you know that's where the real content goes down, right? And some things, just me actually writing it. I put it into a Google Doc, and then I download that as a PDF. And then I put it into ChatGPT. You can do it in Gemini, you can do it in Claude. And what I tell it is that here are pieces of content that I've written. I did 20 pieces. I say the minimum is 5, but the more you give it, the better. Here are 20 pieces of content that I originally wrote. I want you to analyze each piece of content for my writing style, my tone, my personality, any of my word cues, meaning words that I use a lot of, and some of mine are listen, y'all, ain't, right? Some of them colloquialisms that I put in there. And then also my celebrity persona. The reason why I do a celebrity persona is because there might be times I really want to be inspirational, and it tells me to, and I can say, do this in the voice of Brene Brown, because it told me one of my celebrity personas is Brene Brown. So I get celebrity personas and I tell it to give me a detailed analysis. Once it spits out that detailed analysis of how I write my original content, I then put that into a PDF and I make that my AI writing guide. So anytime I upload, anytime I ask for it to write content, to write sales page copy, to even write some responses that I want to make to content, it uses that writing guide as the foundation to write content for me. But here's the other key to this. It's not a just put it in and then take the first iteration. You do have to tweak it. So there are some things where I don't like this word, or I don't like how this sounds, or I don't use this word naturally because I'm from New Orleans and sometimes when I say it, it don't sound right. My accent comes out. So I don't use this word naturally, so I don't want you to put it in my content. And that memory just keeps building. And so that way, when I go in to have it write content for me, it knows exactly how I sound and what I want to put out. And so that's what I would tell everyone. If you're not training it or you haven't trained it, today is the day for you to do that, and then keep going through with different iterations. Is going to keep getting better. And yeah, that's probably the best training I can give on how to use AI to write for you.
Yeah, that's so good. And so adding the 20 pieces of content, we're not stopping at 5, y'all. Don't do the minimum. We are not status quo. I want you to go ahead and do all 20 and then analyze it with writing style. We might need you to write up a little document and give this to us in the show notes.
I think I have it somewhere.
We get the AI prompt that we can just put in and tell it to analyze us. And then our celebrity persona, I love that. I have not done that part of it. I've done some of the other things, but the celebrity persona is a great add-on to that.
Yes, it is, because it helps. If there's moments where you just want to write something motivational, or even sometimes when I want to pray, but maybe I don't have the right words and I'm asking ChatGPT to help me do the prayer, I'll say use Oprah Winfrey's style to help me write this prayer. And it comes out just like that. I love it writing prayers in Tyler Perry's tone too. Tyler Perry is one of the celebrity personas that it gave me. And so this really helps to like amplify your content. It helps you produce more content. So
And so you said that it gave you. So did you ask it about, a little bit about me. And so tell me what celebrity persona you think I might have, or how did you get to the persona?
I gave it those 20 pieces, and I gave it the 20 pieces of content. And I said, based on your analysis of this content, what celebrity personas or celebrity writing styles do I have? Or what tone does it resemble? And it gave me 5 celebrities. And so of those 5, I just keep them in my writing guide. And if there's times where I want to write a certain way, but maybe it's not hitting it for me, I'll say, do it in the tone of Gary Vee. And then it'll get right to it. And so because I know those things already, it's in that guide, I'm able to get through content real quick. And so when train right, AI becomes your partner, your creative partner, and not, your competition or something you're worried about. It really helps you save time while also capturing your messaging.
Good. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. We can stop the recording right there. I mean, that was enough.
I told you I was gonna give them a lesson.
We got it. And I know there's a few more to come. So, all right. So let's talk about repurposing content, because we have all these different platforms, all of these different things that we need to be posting. We want to make sure that people might know about us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or what, not Twitter anymore, X, if y'all use X, and Threads and all of this. And so let's talk about how you repurpose your content. So what's your 3-step system for repurposing content across these platforms?
You know what? I would have to go back to the system I shared earlier, because it's sort of the same thing. All of the content that I post is organized somewhere, whether it's in a Google Doc, a Google Sheet, Trello. Now everything's in ClickUp, y'all. So everything's in ClickUp for me with the content. And then I use the Systems Boutique. So as I start posting content, I'm going to create folders for that. And so I have to keep it organized. I think that's the first part of it to repurposing, is organization. So was this for a launch? Was this for a particular course? Was this for a particular thing? If it's just random quotes, memes, maybe you put it in that type of folder, but you have to keep it all organized. And then number 2, depending on what it is that I have going on, I go into that content that I've already posted in those folders, and I determine how do I want to repurpose it. So if I wrote it as a post last time, maybe it's a written post. Do I want to do it as a video now? And if so, I need to, plan and schedule when I want to record the video. Or I could repurpose the same written content as a reel, but maybe I have some B-roll that I can just put the actual words on a reel now, right? And so I'm thinking about how do I want to repurpose the content based on what it is I have going on. And then what I love about using the Systems Boutique is now I can schedule all of my repurposed content, right? Like I can do that in other places, but I have the Systems Boutique to now schedule that in all those places. So now I have the same content going to LinkedIn. I have the same content going to X, or I have the same content going to Instagram and Facebook, and it's all repurposed. And so that last piece would be the automation and the systems piece and tracking the data. Actually, that's a bonus one. That'll be the fourth one. Tracking the data, because how you posted it before and how you're posting it now, it's important to see what your audience resonates with, because that might be the format for that particular type of content. And so that would be my 3 steps, and just putting it out there. If you guys aren't repurposing stuff you've already did, you're actually overworking yourself and you're underpaid. Yeah. Ooh, okay, listen, y'all. I got to tell y'all, all data is not the same. Okay. So it really does depend on what I have currently going on. So I'll give you guys an example. If I'm in a launch, I'm going to be paying attention to people who are commenting on my hand raising post or my yelling post, because their comment could indicate that they're a potential prospect, right? I don't really pay attention to too many likes in a launch, but because likes don't really equate to people actually signing up for something. I always call that like a vanity metric, but I am paying attention to those who comment. And so based on those who comment, I will track, did I DM them? Right? So how many conversations did I start with this person, and where did those conversations go? Did it lead to them actually buying something, or did it lead to me having to book a call with them? And then based on booking a call, did it lead to, them buying, or maybe I had to downsell them, or they didn't buy anything? This is actually a simple funnel for social media. And we all funnels this, funnels that. I don't have a funnel. You do. If you post content and you track the data, you have a funnel. So me posting content, I'm paying attention to the behaviors of my audience, and based on their behaviors, what it is that I do. So I don't, like I said, I don't really track too much of the likes and the likes, that's the vanity part, but I do pay attention to comments. Also in my stories, there are people who will watch my story and then comment, and that goes to my DMs. And based on what they say, I pay attention, like I make moves from there. Someone watched my stories on the systems that I was building and the behavior parts. And they said, what offer do you have that teaches this? I said, oh, I don't have an offer for that. They said, well, can you create one? Because I want to learn. That's data.
I've been telling you, didn't we talk about that before?
You did. That's data for me. And so now I'm like, okay, well, since this is 3 different people.
Yeah.
So now I put a poll up in my stories today, and I asked them, would you guys like for me to do more stories like this? And based on that, that's going to give me data. And then based on the continuous amounts of stories I put out, that'll tell me I might need to create an offer or a masterclass or a workshop or something paid that can give me what? More data. So girl.
I told you it was a rabbit hole. I was trying not to go down it, but I had to.
But it's so juicy.
It is. Listen.
It's so juicy. We make decisions off of data. I don't just decide today, oh, I'm going to do something and there's no data to support it. Everything I do, is data behind it. And so I can have this conversation all day. Business owners, if you're not using data to grow your business or to create offers or services, you're actually bankrupting your business.
And there's so many issues, because I see people all the time and they say posting on social media doesn't work, but it's really not even just the post. It's all
not the
back end stuff that is supposed to be happening that you're not doing. So yeah, you're just posting.
Ooh, girl, I almost threw a book at me. Let me get closer to Mike. It's not that your posts don't work. It's that you don't work.
You don't work, right? You don't have the systems and the operations in place. And here's the thing. There's not
overall strategy.
Nope.
So posting is only a very small piece of the strategy. So what you're going to post, all of that is one small piece. You just use this term hand raise. So when somebody is commenting on you all's social media post, that is like, hey, that hit me, or hey, that's something that resonated with me.
Just message me directly.
Yeah. That's what they're telling you. But if you don't know these things, then you're not going to have the success online with your business, and you're going to say that online business doesn't work, and it is not true. And so you need to get this training, get in the Systems Boutique, get this information from us. We are going to teach you about
we need to
all
make
of
sure
these
we
things.
make that a highlight. It's not that the posts don't work, it's that you don't work. Juicy. What the kids be saying? Bars? Do they still say that?
I don't know. Look, my daughter always says that I'm not saying the right things anymore. I'll get something and like, I liked, do you left me on red? I thought that was just a great one. And then she said, I'm already old with that.
I'm like, bars. I feel like I just dropped the bars. So.
Yes, that's bars, I think.
My goodness.
So, all right, let's say somebody's listening today and they're probably laughing right now with us too, but they also have content everywhere. They got Canva folders, their IG drafts, they've got YouTube clips, their webinar replays, but there is no system like we just talked about. So they've got all the things, but no system. So what's the first thing that they should do to clean up that content chaos?
Ooh. Okay, so here's what I would recommend. You basically need to audit your stuff, and you need to say to yourself, is this still, like, put it in buckets. Is this still relevant? Does this need a refresh, or do I need to retire it? That's probably what I would sort through first with the content, because if it's still relevant, then absolutely go into repurposing mode or go into actually putting it out there mode. If it needs a refresh, so maybe you don't teach a certain thing anymore, or maybe you've elevated in your ideal client, so you just need to refresh it and then retire it. Always look at different ways you can retire your content. Is it in a course, or is it an ebook? Is it something you could sell for a low ticket item to generate money into your business, but also give you more data about where your audience is at? And so I use those three things, and then I put everything into one place, right? So after I kind of categorize it, everything goes in one place. So now all my stuff is in a Google Drive, or if you use Notion or you use ClickUp, what I love about having my CRM is I can link my Google Drive, and I can also link my Google Drive in the Systems Boutique. And so being able to like organize it that way, you'll start to really like see patterns. You'll see patterns, and those patterns will give you what? More data. And so that's probably what I would say. In Canva, you can make folders too, right? You can put your content in folders too. And so I would also use that same system in Canva to update that, because I find a lot of times we create graphics in Canva and then maybe our brand colors change. And so it might still be relevant and something you could use, but you just need to update it into your new brand colors. And so I would always say start with a content audit and then go into, okay, how can I use this? Because the chaos isn't the problem, y'all. The chaos isn't the problem. It's the lack of system that is. So that would be my recommendation. If you have stuff all over the place, create a system to get it organized. And if you're anything like me, it's going to take you some time.
Yeah, I think that's all of us. And that's where people get overwhelmed and they don't want to move forward because they're like, oh my goodness, it's so much. You're telling me so much. I was talking to somebody about systems the other day and they're like, oh my gosh, this is blowing my mind. And I'm like, listen, you got to just start in one place. So look at the stuff that you already have, because you already have a ton of stuff, even just sitting in your phone, right? We have so much content. Look, do the audit first, categorize it, and then go to the next step. I
And
mean,
schedule time.
right.
Put it on your calendar. I put everything on my calendar now. I'm working on writing a book, and every day there's a 45-minute block for me to dedicate to that book, whether it's me putting the outline together, writing the actual words, or whatever. Put it on your calendar, because if you break it down into smaller pieces, the big goal becomes less intimidating. So I would absolutely recommend that. And that's basically what I've been doing to try to get all my systems in one place and get everything updated.
Mm-hmm. So when you think about these must-have systems or these routines that you do, tell us about the routines that you use to keep your own content flow chic and consistent.
Well, number one, I have a day to plan. I think that is always going to be the first thing everybody needs in their routine is a day to just plan and look at everything that you have to do. So I have a day that I plan and I decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. This is when I'm going to record content. This is when I'm going to write content. Do I have a launch or how much money do I need to make this week or over the next month? I really sit down and I plan and get that piece organized. And then I think about the systems that I'm going to need, right? And so, do I need an automation set up in my system for something? Because then I can go into Systems Boutique and create an automation. Whenever that type of content rolls out, I make sure that I have that keyword constantly going through. And so I think about that piece of it. So I'm putting that into place. And I only create content. Ooh, I think this is a good one. Let me make sure I get my words right. I only do sales generating activities. So if I'm trying to build my authority, boost visibility, make money, all of that is around sales generating activities. If it's not helping me do one of those things, then I'm not doing it. Period. When I post stories, that's a sales generating activity. Y'all might think it's educating y'all, but really it's also helping me generate more prospects. When I post content, that's a sales generating activity. Me auditing my lead gen system is a sales generating activity. So I'm very intentional about what generates revenue in my business. And if it's not generating revenue, at that point, it's just blowing smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm asthmatic. I can't do no smoke.
Right. And our businesses are asthmatic. They don't want smoke either. And it makes us cough, choke, not be able to
Just do
breathe in
nothing.
the
You just stuck.
freedom, right? The freedom, the ease that we've talked about so many times, right? So let's talk about boundaries because we're talking about burning out with content. So, what's one boutique style boundary you set to make sure content creation doesn't take over your life? Because that's what it feels like sometimes with content. It's taking over everything you do, is so much content.
I have a good one. This is a good one. I don't know. This just came in my spirit. I was actually going to share something different.
Okay.
And then this just came in my spirit because I see so many business owners do it throughout the year, no matter what is going on, whether it's Super Bowl, whether it's, a big fight or whatever. I don't let content lead me. I don't let the trends lead me. I don't let what everybody else is doing lead me. I lead it. That's my biggest boundary. A lot of times I get people in my DMs and they'll say, "What do you think about this? I noticed you didn't post anything about it." Because it's making me anxious just thinking about it. It's making me anxious, feel like I need to do something because everybody else is doing it. So I don't let content lead me. I lead it. That's my number one boundary. I only create when I'm in strategy or sales mode. And if I'm creating from a place of trends or any of that, it's not going to do anything for my business. And so I think that's the number one boundary. That's how I keep my content aligned. That's how I keep my peace. And that boundary alone helps me show up. Because if I'm constantly following every trend, I'm going to burn out. You mean I got to, the Super Bowl. How many times do we got to go every year? They talking about, the person who performed at the Super Bowl didn't get paid. Duh. This person at the Super Bowl, they did this, and this what they really get. Duh. Performing at the Super Bowl is a big marketing tactic. We don't need to talk about it every year.
Every year.
And I don't need to tell y'all about it. You should already know that. So I'm not keeping up with that. Beyonce doing this. Let me tell y'all why Beyonce smart. Beyonce smart. So I don't need to write about every move that Beyonce or Rihanna makes. These are smart women. I'm and I see the trends. I pay attention to everything. I can see it before y'all see it. When y'all posting about it, I already then ran through it in my head. I already know what Rihanna got going on 3 months before y'all do. I already know what Meta is doing 3 months before y'all do. So I don't even think to write content on it because that's just part of my job, knowing the trends, knowing what works and what doesn't work. So that's why I say I don't let it lead me. I lead it. And I think that's my number one boundary for sure.
That's good. And I think there's so many things that's happening. So many things, a person will say something happened yesterday where a preacher did something,
And that was over a year ago.
Was it?
That was over a year ago. See, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. Y'all get so caught up in all these things. And that was over. One time they shared something about Cicely Tyson passing away. This was like a few months ago. How long ago did Cicely pass away, y'all? That's why I say I don't let content lead me. It's too distracting. And what we know about distractions is that the enemy loves to use them against us. He did that over a year ago. And so that's why I say I don't let trends or any of that lead me in my business, because it's so important for me to lead it. That's what makes us business owners. That's what takes us from being founders to CEOs. We are the visionaries, but we know how to lead and we know how to say no. So yeah, girl, I don't get caught up in none of that.
Yeah, I love that. And so we're going to end this with something fun. We're going to do this or that, CEO edition. So I don't want you to overthink it. Just say the first thing that feels right. Okay. You ready?
Okay.
All right. So batch content or freestyle vibes? I think I know the answer to this one.
I'm a freestyler.
I thought for sure you were going to say batch.
But I freestyle and then batch it. Like, okay. I freestyle and then schedule it out.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the answer. I freestyle.
Okay. And then you batch it in the scheduler. Okay.
Yep. I put it in my schedule.
All right. Canva or ChatGPT?
Ooh, ChatGPT, because now it has Canva in it.
Uh-huh. Yes. Okay. IG Reels or an email newsletter?
Ooh, Reels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make a reel before I write a newsletter.
Okay, I know this one too. CEO day in sweats or power blazer and bold lip?
Man, every day in sweats. If y'all can see what I got on now. I got on a nice shirt and my hair is nice, but sweat.
All right, early morning planning or late night flow?
Early morning.
I'm a morning person for sure. Like, do not ask me to do anything at night.
I get maybe one day a week where I'm like late night flow, and that's because something just happens. But more than likely, I'm in the early morning.
Yeah. Okay. Automated emails or voice memos to clients?
Oh, these are clients. They're getting voice memos.
Yes, love it. Yeah. All right. A brand shoot or behind the scenes selfies?
Behind the scenes selfies. I was going to say both, but behind the scenes selfies. People love the behind the scene. They like being caught up in all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you like a digital planner or a good old fashioned notebook?
Ooh, this is hard. This one really is hard. So I'm going to start with old fashioned notebook because I have to write everything down and then I put it into my digital planner.
Okay. All right. Last one, system or strategy? I know that one is hard, but you got to pick one.
Strategy first. I can't get a system in place if I don't have a strategy.
Okay. I love it. Well, that was fun. And thank you, Coach Rocky, for being back on the Systems Boutique podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm so honored. Like, I love that you do this for speakers, coaches, consultants. I love that you have this because they need it. So.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you all for listening to this week's episode of the Systems Boutique podcast. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, my chic CEOs, that's a wrap for today's episode. If you found value in today's conversation, do me a favor. Subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with another star. That's a speaker, a teacher, an author, or a coach who absolutely needs it. And hey, if you're ready to finally get your systems together, let's chat. Head over to thesystemsboutique.com/strategy to book your systems style strategy call. where we'll map out your perfect business back end. So until next time, keep it chic, keep it systemized, and keep shining like the absolute star you are. See ya.